Morning folks, Phil Gallagher here for Daily Death and Taxes. We have won the die roll and we are playing Michael Braverman's Yorion D&T list. We'll be keeping this hand. Let's go ahead and flash the deck list real quick just as a reminder of what we're working with. Deck Tech on Monday has more details. Our opponent is playing fair, we're in good shape. If our opponent is playing unfair, I am in very bad shape. I sort of have a vague recollection that my opponent plays Ant, but I'm not 100% sure. Oh, good. Yeah, we're prepared for this. So like we just forest? My opponent said I just woke up like 20 minutes ago. I don't know why I chose to start a league right after waking up. I get that. I've been awake for like an hour and a half at this point, so I'm good. I played a monster train run before starting to record this. This forest is throwing me for a loop. And it's not like snow-covered forest either. It's like actual, factual forest. So, like, maybe my opponent is on some sort of, like, 4-color mid-range or control deck that does not actually have Astrolabe. Yeah, it seems like it's a non-snow version of some sort of 4-color control deck. Mana base looks to be set up a little differently from normal versions here. Interesting decision. Do I take them off of double green for Uro, or do I deny them red? I think I deny them red. I'm gonna think about it for a sec while I attack. I guess I, like, strictly speaking, don't have an answer to the Uro yet. A profitable answer anyway. I guess I'm good from like lightning bolt right now. Yeah, let's make it ever so slightly for that sucker, harder for that sucker to come back. It's going to require at least one more land drop, and if my opponent is looking at a basic heavy deck, maybe I get a few turns of respite from Uro, which is all I need. I'm hitting for 6 a turn as of right now. The Uro coming back into the Uro coming back into play is pretty devastating. That also falls into the category of not good. But like Wasteland, a Port, a Flicker Wisp, all of those sorts of things are going to do a lot of work here. A Lightning Bolt from my opponent similarly is going to do a lot of work. Probably always no to both of those next turn. I don't even have to say anything, you know. Holy shit! Well, this is like a 10 out of 10 on the spice scale. Opponent is going to discard most of these cards, and I'm not going to take the block here. Because like land into Lightning Bolt would be super awkward if I do. So we're boarding in Rest in Peace against this deck. 100%. I guess I would dub this deck like Waterfalls, like a 4-color Cascade deck. It's probably reasonable that like Shardless Agent is in here as well somewhere. Something like Crashing Footfalls might be a possibility. The Royal Scions. Whew. Opponent's deck is sweet. Let's go always no to both of these for the moment. A Flicker Wisp is fantastic. I don't know what problem exactly that is going to solve for me, but it will do it. So I attack for 6 here. This is 3 life when it enters, right? So this can put my opponent to 6. And pro green, so I don't care about it. End of turn, and it doesn't have reach or anything, right? Yeah. And then end of turn, I'll flicker this out so that Crusader can get through, and then I have a whole bunch of damage coming in. I don't care about my opponent drawing more cards, I don't think. So, like, I'm not going to blink this out now or anything. And I'm totally fine with my opponent tying up all of their mana for the turn. Casting, not all of their mana, but 4 of their presumably 6 mana. Mirren Crusader doing some serious work this game in terms of clocking my opponent down. Just to talk about it, I probably should have played out this land rather than holding it for a bluff, because like I have this Yorion in my pocket. That's something I need to be cognizant of. So super interestingly here, I could like trade with Arcanist and then blink out a green source to prevent them from playing Uro, but I already beat Uro if it hits play. So I'm not going to do that. Sure. Now we'll do kind of exactly what I talked about, but with a different Arcanist. Now I flicker that out so the Mirren Crusader can get in there, and we had 5 in the air anyway. Bonus deck list is A+ spicy. Rest in Peace is 100% coming in. Council's Judgment, I think, is going to be good enough, and Surgical Extraction might even be good enough. Well, normally I'm not like gung-ho about Surgical Extraction against Dreadhorde Arcanist decks. When it's Ancestral, they're flashing back, like it's an entirely different story. Sanctum Prelate on 0 is also oddly good. So now there is the Revoker Gambit of, is my opponent playing Oko, and if so, how many? Because if they are not playing Oko, and the absence of Astrolabe is an indication that they may not be, my Phyrexian Revokers are probably dead. I don't see Walking Ballista being good. Phyrexian Revoker is probably bad, but maybe we hedge and keep 1 in. Jiete is probably not fantastic. The single white exile spells are interesting. And then, like, they're going to be bad against things like Bloodbraid and Shardless Agent, but fine against things like Tarmogoyf and Arcanist. That probably means they stay in. So the question is, do I leave in 1 Revoker to hedge? My opponent did show me Royal Scions, so like I guess leaving 1 in as a recruiter target is okay. Palace Jailer, I guess, is slightly awkward versus haste creatures. So like maybe I'll trim 1 of those and like trim either a Stoneforge or a Thalia to round it out. So with traditional D&T, a lot of times I try not to fall below 20 creatures in terms of my sideboarding, but I have no idea what that number is like for this deck. You're just gonna like suspend an Ancestral? Yeah. Oh, suspend Crashing Footfalls. Okay. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Alright, opponent has a slow but terrifying start against me. I think I need to play another Vial out. I really see myself needing to do things like Recruiter, get a 2-drop, play a 2-drop, or have 2 Vials at 3, so like I can Recruiter, get Flicker Wisp immediately. Oh shit, there's Punishing Fire combo in there too. I'm definitely spooked. This Mother of Runes is presumably going to be quite good. I think this is a game that, like, Sanctum Prelate bails us out of. So next turn, Crashing Footfalls ticks down to 1, and then they get it the turn after. So if I want to stop both of those spells, I need my opponent to not have Force of Will, and I need to play Recruiter of the Guard here. Well, I don't need to. Next turn I could tick Vial up to 3 and then hard cast it next turn, so I could do something like Port or Waste this turn instead. And end up in a similar but slightly different position. So I could like Port and hold up Swords to Plowshares this turn. That's, I guess, fine. Force of Vigor blows me out very savagely. So I guess a kind of cool thing is that, like, if my opponent has the opportunity to send away Force of Wills, they probably do here since I have double Vial in play. Ooh, they don't have more land. I can work with that. A lightning bolt targeting Mother of Runes. Okay, well, I do it. But this Punishing Fire, oh no, a Stomp. Yep, that is occurring. It Swords to Plowshares my own creatures so they don't get Bone Crusher Giant, but this Swords to Plowshares is, like, going to Uro. Okay. Please don't have Force of Will. Please don't have Punishing Fire. Please don't have Red Removal Spell. We're asking for a lot of things here. And now I will Wasteland them. I know they're stuck on land. So they have green covered here. I can take them off of blue for Uro purposes. And that probably means I hit Tropical Island. This means that if they want green mana, they give me life. They have a red removal spell that they can cast here. It's really devastating for me. Otherwise, I probably win this game. Like, blocking the Crashing Footfalls is great, and blocking the Ancestral Visions is probably game over. I have that covered either through Council's Judgment or Swords to Plowshares. At this point, let's go always no to both of those. I can always change my mind later. Holy crap, that's good. If I Swords to Plowshares this, I get to lean hardest on my mana denial plan. So I will do that. This is admittedly pretty gross. Yeah, now we've blocked that. Everything has gone right for us this game. Every single thing. We're like also keeping our opponent off of recasting the Bone Crusher Giant to like block my idiots. Man, and now we get to nuke Uro if we want. Like as soon as it becomes a real threat. We don't have to worry about like nuking it in this turn cycle, and probably not even the turn cycle after that. My opponent is just talking about how brutal that prelate was for them. So I think my opponent is dead next turn. Yeah, so I was talking about how I am all in on this to win this game, and my opponent was talking about how their hand was all in on resolving these and then getting to play a long, grindy game after it. GG's super interesting deck from my opponent there. I enjoyed that one a lot. All right, we're up to 4-0 with this deck. Let's see if we can get a trophy tomorrow.